Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees in today's session of the Secrets of Bhagavad Gita. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we are going to discuss Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 text number 6. Let us start. न चैतद्विद्मः कतरन्नो गरीयो यत्वा जयेम यदि वानो जयेयुः यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामस्तेव स्थिताः प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्राः. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we killed the sons of Dhritarashtra, we would not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Purport. Arjuna did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessary violence, although fighting is the duty of the Kshatriya, or whether he should refrain and live by begging. So it's a very important observation here. Srila Prabhupada uh, would explain later in the purport that how Arjuna, though framing his arguments based on Dharma Shastra, uh, we can clearly see here that he personally admits that he is confused. That's why he is speaking these words. Nacha etad vidmaha kataranna kataranno gariyaha yadva jayema yadi vanu jaye. So Arjuna is not sure whether fighting with Kauravas, fighting with Duryodhana and his supporters would be helpful uh, or not, whether it will be auspicious for him or not. So he is not actually certain about the outcome of this war, and that's why uh, he is raising this doubt before Lord Shri Krishna. So in the beginning, he declares that he does not think that this is going to be uh, auspicious for us, for Pandavas, and now he immediately comes to realize that actually it is not so. He is not even sure what will happen. So whether fighting with them or conquering our relatives would be auspicious, or being conquered by them, that will be auspicious. So uh, here we see the Arjuna's confused state of mind, and generally it happens when we come across very serious situation. There are people who get confused even over little things. However, here the issue is very grave because Arjuna is supposed to fight with his own superiors, his gurus. These gurus had taught Arjuna how to fight, and now Arjuna is supposed to not only fight with them but to kill them. So it is highly painful for Arjuna to even think about them. So uh, while we are sitting on chair and reading this book Bhagavad Gita, it may not be so appealing, or it may not be touching our heart. How much painful it would be for Arjuna to even uh, throw arrow at Guru Dronacharya, who taught him how to throw arrows. So it's very difficult to understand Arjuna's pain here. But it is said that Kshatriya Dharma is very cruel in scriptures, And even in practical life, we can see those who are administrators or rulers, they have to take very harsh decisions, and sometimes such decisions do involve their own relatives. There are instances when a king killed his own son for the fault of unknowingly killing a calf. So, because king has already declared that whoever kills cow in his kingdom would be personally executed by the king, and it so happened that his own son unknowingly committed this act, but king has already declared that he would not think twice before executing that person, whether he does that act knowingly or unknowingly. So, as per the law, king had to take that harsh decision, that harsh step, and he personally killed his own son. So, that's the cruel nature of Kshatriya Dharma or Kshatriya Dharma. But it is unavoidable because there are always challenges in uh, following dharma. So in Kshatriya Dharma also there are various challenges, and followers of dharma are supposed to tolerate all these challenges or tolerate such pains in executing their particular dharma. And Arjuna is also supposed to just accept the reality that though he does not want to fight with his gurus, his superiors, but still as Kshatriyas, he should fight it. And he knows that in Kshatriyas, these situations do arise because, as Prabhupada also mentions elsewhere, sometimes in marriages among Kshatriyas, there are possibilities of fighting. So it is almost impossible for Kshatriyas to avoid fight, and many times this fight includes their own relatives, their blood relatives or some distant relatives, but it is simply unavoidable. So why Arjuna should think of not fighting with his superiors? So actually, it does not make any sense because every Kshatriya has been trained from the beginning of his training that whoever comes before him and challenges him, he must fight. A Kshatriya cannot refuse it. And here, his own gurus, Guru Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama, they are highly respectable for Arjuna, and they have challenged Arjuna by supporting Duryodhana. So Arjuna should similarly accept the challenge. But now, in this confused state of mind, Arjuna admits that actually does not know what would be auspicious for the Pandavas. He does not. Uh, he's not even sure about the outcome of the war. So there are chances that we may conquer Duryodhana and his supporters, and there are equal chances as well that Duryodhana may conquer us because there are great warriors on both the sides. So that is also uncertain. And uh, Arjuna's dilemma is that even if we conquer Duryodhana and his supporters, after all, what would we gain? We will simply lament for our relatives because they are all our relatives. They are all our gurus, superiors, teachers. So practically, even if we win them, there is no auspicious results for Pandavas, except that we will get some kingdom. Next, nor was there certainty of victory because either side might emerge victorious. So there are great warriors like Karna, Bhurishrava, Of course, Bhishma and Dronacharya were already there, and Vikarna. So many great warriors were present on the side of Duryodhana. Even who was that? I'm not able to recall that. One there was one warrior who was considered a son of Varun Dev. I think his name is Shrutayu or something like that. So he was also very powerful, and there was someone, the ruler of Pragyotishpur. I'm not able to recall his name. So he was also a great warrior, though he was looking old, but he was so powerful that he could be a great challenge for Pandavas. And Duryodhana personally was very strong. He was personally trained by Lord Balram, so he was also a great fighter. So it was not certain that Pandavas would come out victorious. There are equal possibilities for Duryodhana's and Duryodhana and his supporters as well. Next, even if victory awaited them and their cause was justified, still, if the sons of Dhritarashtra died in battle, it would be very difficult to live in their absence. So here Arjuna's attachment to his relatives is clearly visible. So he is lamenting for the loss of his relatives. So he knows that Duryodhana had done uh, great sin by not giving Pandava's rightful kingdom to them. However, uh, in this particular war, we will have to literally kill Duryodhana and all his brothers, basically Pandava's brothers. And what would be the gain of killing one's brothers? Because in a social life, only when you have your own relatives, friends, then only we can really share our opulences and we can share our emotions. So that's what constitutes social life. And without relatives, it is social life is simply unimaginable. And the Mahabharata war is such a awkward situation where all Pandavas, relatives, friends, well-wishers, gurus, they were all present on the opposite side. So it was very painful for Arjuna to see that all these relatives and friends would be uh, killed by Pandavas, and what would be left? Only grief. We would be lamenting for them. Generally, in a cultured society, whenever someone's relative or friends die, then all relatives and friends and well-wishers they come together and they show lamentation. That's a general scenario in cultured families, and Arjuna is worried about that. That even if we are successful in killing all our relatives, we will still be lamenting for them. So there is no point in just fighting with them. Under the circumstances, that would be another kind of defeat for them, because in the absence of relatives and friends, life is very miserable, because social life contains all kinds of social exchanges. For example, when wherever there is some birth or some samskaras happening, then all relatives they come together, they celebrate those festivals, they share their their joy with each other. So if there are no relatives and friends, then it's something uh, we can say the social life is destroyed without friends and relatives. Where is the question of social life? So Arjuna is thinking in the this material terms. So though Arjuna's concerns are varied, but we should not simply think in terms of material gain. We have to also consider the dharma aspect, which is the topmost aspect over and above everything. So while there may be valid concerns regarding uh, killing of relatives and uh, laws of well-wishers and uh, only receiving distress by killing one's own relatives and friends. However, the higher uh, consideration is dharma. Actually, dharma consideration is the highest consideration. So, we will see in the pages of Bhagavad Gita how Arjuna would be advised by Lord Shri Krishna to rise his understanding, to raise his understanding to the platform of dharma and even above dharma. Uh, Lord Shri Krishna advises Arjuna to simply execute his order, and this is called bhakti dharma, which is the topmost of dharma. That is param dharma. So, so for uh, any situations in our life, we are supposed to give importance to dharma or everything, and the height of dharma is bhakti dharma. So sometimes there may be some conflicting situations in ordinary dharma and param dharma, bhakti. So, in those situations, under the guidance of higher authorities, we have to give more importance to bhakti dharma, and because that's the ultimate culmination of following all dharmas. So, even after following all dharmas, we do not reach to the conclusion that we have to perform bhakti, devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna, or we do not come to the conclusion that in all our activities we are supposed to think of Lord Shri Krishna and uh, doubted all the results of our dharma to Lord Shri Krishna. Then simply following the rules and regulations of dharma would not give us proper results. So we may get some material gain by following rules and regulations of dharma. However, the real gain is Vishnu Padangri Labha. The real gain is to get uh, devotional service at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. So uh, that we will see how it unfolds in the Bhagavad Gita. Next, all these considerations by Arjuna definitely prove that not only was he a great devotee of the Lord, but he was also highly enlightened and had complete control over his mind and senses. So Arjuna is feeling great distress at the thought of killing his superior. It's not that he was doubting his own capability. He was sure about his capacity, his prowess, that he could easily kill his superiors. However, due to a saintly heart, he was not able to uh, digest the thought of killing his own teachers and his own relatives. So that is the nature of a pure devotee or any saintly person, because Arjuna, he actually does not want to kill anyone, because a Vaishnava, uh, is paradukha dukhi. He feels pain when he sees others in painful conditions. So that is the natural characteristics of a Vaishnava. And Arjuna, being a pure devotee of Lord Shri Krishna and a great Vaishnava, um, he demonstrated those qualities here. That um I can, I can, I cannot just uh, kill my relatives or my gurus only for getting some material gain, some kingdom, and he prefers to even beg alms over fighting with their teachers. So it clearly reflects uh, how much detached he was from material things. Generally, it is very difficult to be detached from all uh, sense objects. But here we see that Arjuna, because he's a great devotee of Lord Shri Krishna, and uh, and because he's a very is a saintly person, so he was showing the signs of vairagya. So his arguments are motivated by his vairagya. So it's not uh, feeling some fear, some fear of losing his own life or anything of material loss. But actually, he was worried about the loss of his relatives, his teachers, and that's and he doesn't want to see all these things. And out of compassion for his kinsmen, he prefers to beg alms, even at the cost of receiving defaming. So, a Kshatriya is not supposed to beg alms under any circumstances because he is supposed to maintain his praja, uh, his citizens at any cost. So even under emergencies, Kshatriya is not supposed to take charity from anyone because he is supposed to be resourceful and he is supposed to uh, maintain his citizens under all circumstances. So that much prowess he must possess. So and that's the reason Arjuna, when he proposes that I prefer to beg arms instead of fighting with my superiors. That's something uh, unbelievable uh, among Kshatriyas. So maybe we are not able to relate to Arjuna's that declaration that how he would live simply by begging. Uh, but for Kshatriyas to beg alms like Brahmanas is a great defaming. It's a great insult. And for Kshatriyas to get insult is much severe than embracing death. So that was the serious condition here. His desire to live by begging, although he was born in the royal household, is another sign of detachment. So that's also a very important point that he was born into a royal family, but still he was so detached from all the royal assets. So he was not attached to uh, attaining a kingdom uh, supreme power or Hastinapur and other. So he was completely detached from any sorts of material belongings. So that is very something unique we see. Generally, those who belong to royal families, we can see that they are generally attached to sense objects, and it's very difficult for them to simply renounce them. I'm talking about today's scenario. In previous days, Kshatriyas have been trained right from the beginning to practice renunciation, to practice detachment. So it was possible for them to give up their kingdom and at some around age of 50 or so and search for the absolute truth. So they would accept the life of vanaprastha. They would go to forest. So that was the training of kshatriya, and it was expected from them. But here I'm talking about the modern time where members of royal families or whoever is fabulously rich, it is very difficult to remain detached from sense objects. And Arjuna, we can clearly see how detached he is. Though he is so powerful that he can conquer whole universe single-handedly, but still he prefers to beg alms instead of fighting with his superiors. We can see the values of Arjuna. So he is not calculating in terms of some material gain, or even not. He is not even uh, uh, considering the ordinary aspect of dharma, that he is a kshatriya and he is supposed to fight. Arjuna knows this, but still uh, he prefers not to fight with his teachers because he is a saintly person. That's the only reason we see here that Arjuna, even though uh, understand that his teachers are also behaving like ordinary people attached to material gain, and they want to challenge Arjuna, but still Arjuna wants to respect them, respect his teachers, and prefer to beg alms or even get killed by them. So that's the height of renunciation. He's not even attached to his own life. So that's a sign of a saintly person or a pure devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. He was truly virtuous, as these qualities combined with his faith in the words of instruction of Shri Krishna, his spiritual master, indicate. It is concluded that Arjuna was quite fit for liberation. Unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance of elevation to the platform of knowledge. And without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. So Arjuna is fit for liberation. How? Prabhupada explains that without controlling the senses, there is no chance of elevation to knowledge, to the platform of knowledge. So because Arjuna is in knowledge, so that means he has full control over his senses. So it's a very simple test to understand whether we are on the platform of knowledge or ignorance. So if you are on the platform of knowledge, then we should be in full control of our mind and senses. If we are not, that means we are still acting on the platform of ignorance. And without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. So the person should be able to be detached from sense objects. He should have full control over his senses, and uh, he should also have uh, devotional attitude towards Lord Shri Krishna. So only in such a condition he can attain liberation. So that's a prerequisite for attaining liberation. Liberation, as we discussed yesterday, Vishnu Padangri Labha, to attain the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna or to attain Krishna Prema, love of Lord Shri Krishna. So that is the ultimate moksha. Or sometimes we separate Krishna Prema from moksha just to highlight how exalted the nature of Krishna Prema is. Uh, but actually, uh, Krishna Prema is also a form of uh, it's a actual liberation. It's a actual uh, characteristic of a person who is liberated. So, because only liberated person uh, gets a taste of pure devotional service. And that is why there is no harm when if we equate uh, Krishna prema with moksha, because the other four kinds of liberations, namely Samipya, Sarupya, Sasti, and Salokya, all these liberations belong to Vaishnavas, and those who attain this liberation, they have great devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna or Lord Vishnu or Lord Rama. So, to attain liberation, one must have knowledge and devotion. And to attain knowledge, we must first of all, have full control over mind and senses. And that's why it is said that we have to control our senses, we have to control our mind by not indulging in sense gratification. So, if someone uh, uh, is too addicted to sense gratification, then that person cannot remain on the platform of knowledge. That is that should be clear. So, if you see that, or if you find ourselves too attached to sense gratification, that means we are way away from the platform of knowledge. Arjun was competent in all these attributes over and above his enormous attributes in his material relationships. So he was a pure devotee of Lord Shri Krishna, and he was also having many saintly qualities. He was a good disciple. So all these symptoms naturally appear in the bodies of pure devotees, and we clearly see Arjuna being a saintly person and a pure devotee Lord Shri Krishna demonstrates all these attributes here. Uh, there is one another point I'd like to mention here, that in the context of Bhagavad Gita, we see that Bhishma and Dronacharya claim themselves as servants of artha, or servants of material gain, because they were maintained by Kauravas. However, we should also see the higher plan of the Lord. So Bhishma and Drona both are great personalities, and particularly Bhishma Dev, he was one of the 12 Mahajanas, or 12 great personalities, great authorities on the science of God. So we should not doubt that how could Bhishma uh, gets into illusion. So he is not in illusion, and if he is in illusion, or he appears to be in illusion, that is the plan of Lord Shri Krishna. So sometimes Lord Shri Krishna may put his devotees in illusion. For example, sometimes he puts Lord Shiva into illusion, Lord Brahma into illusion. So uh, all these narrations should be understood as Krishna's personal pastimes. We should not think that such great personalities or pure devotees also get influenced by illusion or maya. So, if Bhishma Dev justifies his material attachments, that is all that should be understood as being inspired by Lord Shri Krishna. So, only by the potency, internal potency of Lord Shri Krishna, Bhishma must be um acting as a ordinary person. As we see Arjuna, Arjuna is also acting like an ordinary person here. So similarly, Bhishma also is behaving like an ordinary person. Uh, giving more importance to Raj Dharma, and giving more importance to Artha over Dharma. So that is also a plan of Lord Shri Krishna. We will see in the Mahabharata war when um Bhishma Dev uh, takes a vow to kill uh, Pandavas. That time, uh, Lord Shri Krishna had to break his vow, not using any weapon in Mahabharata war. And at that time, Bhishma Dev glorifies Lord Shri Krishna. So these prayers are available in Srimad Bhagavatam, and these prayers clearly indicate how great Bhishma Dev was. So he was in full knowledge of Lord Shri Krishna. So whatever he was doing, it was only for the pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna. Because sometimes pure devotees also get such awkward services. So it may be difficult for ordinary people to understand how pure devotees can accept such roles. But Lord Shri Krishna has different plans, uh, and and why Bhishma had to fight with Duryodhana. There is also a reason given by some authorities that Bhishma Dev has such a great boon that he could die only at his will. So and he has a great prowess, and Duryodhana knew this very well. So if Bhishma Dev takes the side of Pandavas, then there would not be any Mahabharata war, because uh, Duryodhana was uh, thinking of fighting with Pandavas. It was only due to Bhishma's prowess. So that was also a valid reason why Lord Shri Krishna put Bhishma Dev into Duryodhana's side, and he inspired Bhishma to give take the side of Artha, or take the side of Raj Dharma over real Dharma. Okay, so I would stop here. If there is any question, we can take. And if there are no questions, then we can simply end here. Okay. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीमद् भगवद्गीता यज्ञ की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। Those to the devotees who are regularly joining this Bhagavad Gita classes. Thank you.